My God, that is incredibly terrible. Today's the day we're gonna start doing some performance upgrades. And first thing's a little concerning. I got a lot of oil from my blow-by tube, and my air filter seemed to have sucked itself clear off of the gasket. So got the truck pulled in the shop, so I need to start ripping all the stuff off this intake manifold. So that's going to be the carburetor, throttle linkages, the coil. I might end up pulling the spark plugs off just so I don't keep getting tangled up. Got just about all the accessories off. I'm gonna leave this one on. I'll take it off when it's off the truck, and if I need to reuse this one, I'll take this one off too. But I loosened up all the main bolts and they came right out easy peasy. So I just cracked them loose with my breaker bar, and now I'm gonna use my electric ratchet. Got all the bolts out. All I do here is just tap it, and you can see, I don't know, maybe you can't see in the video, but moves just a little bit, it bounces up. Got it out, and let me tell you, it is extremely ugly under there. So I'll get this completely out and pull that oil pan. Hopefully there's not much damage. My God, that is incredibly terrible. I don't know if you can see how big of a wad that is there. It's bad, like super bad. Pure chunks. And that's a hole, so it's just going down into my oil. Oh my God, it's gonna make me sick to my stomach. It looks extremely clean in there, but I am scared to say the least. So I'm gonna do one hell of a job cleaning this out. Ended up sandblasting the intake, but I got a layer of RVT. I know a lot of people say you shouldn't need that stuff, but I'd rather only do this once. So I got RVT below my gaskets and above on these gaskets, and on these ones I got RVT on the bottom, and I put grease on the top just to help that gasket slip around as I'm putting in these bolts. But it's going pretty good. I got everything cleaned up, and I'm ready to start putting bolts in. Okay, we got the bolts snugged down. Now it's time to torque them in sequence. It probably doesn't matter that much, but I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all these are getting torqued down to about 25, and these are getting torqued down to about 20. These are the 5/16 bolts. These are the 3/8. So the carburetor's on. A few of the accessories are on. I don't have the carburetor tightened down or a few of the accessories on quite right, but I had to flip some stuff over, like this throttle linkage is a cable linkage instead of a true linkage. The kickdown bracket doesn't quite fit the C6 kickdown lever. And what else did I have to do? I had to adapt the fuel line from 5/16 to 3/8. And then I think that's all I've had to do so far to get things to fit, but it's not a direct fit. There's going to be quite a bit of modification involved. It came off an identical truck. The problem is it wasn't fully hooked up. It was hooked up wrong, it was installed wrong, it was installed with the wrong parts. So who knows, maybe wrong carb kit, maybe came off of a different vehicle altogether, but I'm gonna just keep plugging away at it and get it installed the right way. Truck started right up, put the carburetor on. Don't have an air filter yet, but once the fuel primed up, it fired right up. I had to adjust the 2 idle screws all the way in, and we're sitting at 13.5 or so for idle. It is popping up into the 14s, but that's exactly where I want it. I know it's really hard to see, but we're sitting good. So next step is to finish wrapping up the engine bay, and then we can take it for a drive and start tuning it. Day 2 of installing the carburetor. I was doing a lot of thinking last night, and I'm worried that my breather over here has oil vapor coming out of it. So I'm gonna check this PCV valve and ensure that it's working. And I'm thinking it's gonna be best case where I take the port here and hook it directly up to the vacuum port right here. So I want there to be a active pulling force from the top of the head on this side, and that way this side should be doing more breathing. So sucking from this side, pushing from that side, and hopefully I can eliminate some of that blow by that we saw in the filter. Not sure I like this air filter. It's definitely low profile, but that hides my nice new carburetor. But it's got a clean look, I guess, so might be all right. Trying to see how out of whack the choke mechanism is, so put a mark where the spring starts. This is supposed to be the top of the choke, but the choke lever starts here, so I almost wonder if this is that far off. So I just want to make a mark where it starts and where it stops when you put 12 volt on it. So I'm gonna let this sit here for a solid minute and see where it's going. Okay, now that we got the choke figured out, we can come back here, check our values. We're running at 14, 15, so pretty close to where we want to be, but I think I'm gonna back these 2 idle screws out half a turn, because right now they're all the way in. And on this one right here, half a turn on that one. Notice the idle going up, that's richeting it. Half a turn, and then I'm going to give my kick down another quarter turn down. So while doing this, I'm trying to maintain 650 RPM, just about perfect there, and we are sitting around 12.9, has yet to hit 13. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to rev it a couple times to see what the idle ends up settling at. Sounds like it went right back to where it needs to be. Oh yeah, 246. Yeah, we could bump the idle up a little bit. I like a lower idle, but let's see where we're sitting. Okay, we could probably turn those in ever so slightly, but pretty happy with that. I'd like to see 13s, but maybe I'll do a quarter turn here. Bump the idle up a little bit. We're sitting comfortable at 13 there. Really gonna try to dial this thing in here. For 6.5 right there, that looks perfect. Oh yeah, that's where I want to be. I'm really liking those numbers here. So when the choke is on, it'll be a lot richer, but the choke is all warmed up, so that's the actual value. So now once I get everything right here buttoned up, we're ready to take this out on the road. So the truck's all back together. I'm gonna just finish cleaning up my tools here, and then I'm ready to take it out for a ride. I'm going to get the AFR gauge ready to go, and I'm going to get everything tuned up and see where we're sitting. Running really good though. This is just that idle. So a little overview, what have we changed? We've changed the air filter from a 10-inch to a 14-inch. Now the 10-inch was a 2-inch stack, the 14-inch is a 3-inch stack. Calculations for a 351 revved out at about 7,000. Ideally would be a 14-inch diameter 2-inch stack, so that would be for the best flow. We're just trying to move air right now. So air filter, and then intake, we have an Edelbrock Perform 400 dual plane intake. What else have we put on? We put on the 600 CFM Summit vacuum secondary carburetor. We put a new oil change in, which might not make much of a difference, but we'll see. And new belts on the alternator and the steering pump, new kickdown linkage, but other than that I think we're running pretty much the same exact stuff. So I'm going to rev it up here. Right off the bat, the gas pedal seems way stiffer, but I got my AFR gauge here ready to go. We're sitting at a comfortable 11.5 right in there, so we're definitely running pretty rich just sitting here. So I'm gonna go out for a drive, it's about 60, 70 degrees, probably 70 degrees. It's sunny out. It's not very humid, pretty dry, so we'll see how this thing does. Truck is just about warmed up. We're sitting at probably a pretty comfortable 170 right now. For the AFR gauge, it might be easier for you to read this part that goes around the outside, but just shy of 13 at idle. We're going to stomp on it. Jumps down to 10, sits at 10, slowly climbs up. So our accelerator pump might be set a little heavy right now, but so far driving around, we're in the 11s and 12s. We'll occasionally hit the 13s, but just waiting for this thing to get up to temperature. It might be placebo effect, but I feel like this thing is really woken up, because typically I need to be around the 2800 RPM to gas it in second or third gear for the truck to really kind of get squirrely. I got really loose leaf springs, so you can feel that axle wrap pretty bad, but I mean, I'm feeling it around the 2000 RPM now, so that alone is telling me that we're on to something here. And the kickdown bracket is working really good. I didn't realize how nice it is for the kickdown bracket to come on so early. So I have it set on the last carburetor, you had to put your foot to the floor. On this one, it's about mid-throttle, and then when you goose it beyond mid-throttle, that's when it kicks it down. So far I'm pretty happy with that setting, but we're gonna have to just drive on to see how we're doing on our jets. So sitting here from a dead stop, close enough to operating temperature. Put her in drive. With the foot on the brake, we're climbing up into 14s when the truck's lugging down. I don't know if I said it before, we're sitting at about 10 degrees of advance right now. So as I accelerate, you can see the ratio drop down, likely because of the accelerator pump, but this is all going to be primary here. See, we're in the 14s there. That's about where the secondary vacuum would open up. We're on D-cell now, coming around a slight turn. Uh-oh. So cruising right around that 25 mile an hour. We're sitting at 12. So not the most fuel efficient, but definitely on the safe side. So we could probably lean out our secondaries. They're at a 73 right now. Primaries and secondaries could both probably be about a 68. We could probably go to a 66 on the primaries, and I wouldn't doubt if we could be in like the 62 region, and then we could advance our timing up to about 14 degrees of timing. And if we're running a lean condition, that advanced timing should richen us up a bit, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. I'm going to see what jets I have in that other carburetor, and if they're too big, I'm going to solder them shut, drill them out. But I want to see where we're at around the 62s for our primary. So right now I'm really happy with how the truck's running. AFR gauge says we're well within the clear. I really don't want to be around 10s, so being in the mid 12s and low 13s, I'm really happy with that. So I gotta say, out of the box, it's a good carburetor. It's tuned good for this motor, especially paired up with the dual plane edelbrock 400 intake. So I'm gonna count this as a win. I'm happy with this, and all we have to do now is see if it makes more power, and we're gonna do that by trying to do a burnout from a stop. So I'm gonna find a good spot to pull over, and we'll see what we can do. It's a good thing I was slowing down to take this video of me doing a burnout. I almost smoked that deer. I shouldn't say almost, but if I was going the speed limit, I might have. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's got it in it yet. I don't know if it's a brake issue, torque converter issue. I can do burnouts no problem in low gear, but in high gear, the truck just lurches up and it doesn't seem to have the ability to break free. So I'll show you just a little, my mirror's really dirty, but I guess I can just do it like this. So we start to gas it up with the foot on the brake. Doesn't want it. Gonna have to do a little research research. Maybe there's some fine tuning I can do to get this thing to go. I'm happy where the truck is at right now, and I'm happy with the carb. So I'm going to keep doing my testing, but this will be the end of this video. We appreciate you watching, and we'll have a video out for you next Wednesday. Thanks.